three main tools that I use to save hours and hours of work every week, which I have to because I've got 4 kids here and I have ADHD and like I want to actually live a life. So these are the things that I'm doing to speed up all the processes as a content creator, as a business owner, that I can't live without at this point. You're going to feel like I'm a broken record because I talk about some of these all the time, but I hope that in each video I'm going to give you like a little bit of a different way in which I'm using these tools. And so the first one, and if you are still resisting using this, like it's time to get off the high horse and just jump in. And it's ChatGPT. But I'm going to tell you exactly how I'm using it in a way that I feel like is, number one, ethical, number two, doesn't degrade the quality of work I'm doing, and number three is like actually helpful. Number one is content creation. I don't love using ChatGPT to actually create my content for me. What I love using ChatGPT for is to help me brainstorm my content and plan out my content. So for example, with these 31 days that I'm doing on YouTube here, where I'm posting 31 videos over 31 days, I had ChatGPT help me create the topics that I was going to do. And then the actual content, like I create all of that myself, obviously, like because ChatGPT can't sit here and talk for me. But even like what I'm saying, like I still write all that by myself. So what I did is I took a bunch of YouTube channels that were not exactly in my niche, but that I like, and I feel like they have a similar style and vibe to me, and that were doing well, like had 100,000 plus subscribers. So I took those channels to ChatGPT and I asked it to kind of analyze them and give me what they thought they were doing well and I could emulate. And after I did that, I asked it to help me come up with 31 content ideas inspired by the types of titles and content ideas that these other channels were using, but adapt them to my niche. And so it did that. It gave me 31 ideas, and a lot of times I might use exactly what they're giving me as an idea, and sometimes it'll just be a jumping off point for me. And this is why it's so key to find channels that are not in your niche, because you don't want to like literally steal people's ideas. You want to take like what's working for other folks and then have it adapted to what you want to do. And that was super helpful because I got all of the content ideas done. You can also take maybe like if you are a content creator yourself, or you've seen other channels or other people who are similar to you but maybe in a different niche. If you see videos that you think, number one, are probably performing really well for them, they have a lot of comments, a lot of views, you can also have ChatGPT analyze that piece of content and maybe create then an outline or a template that you can use to then create your own pieces of content. Now, I do not have ChatGPT actually like create content for me, unless I have my own content to give it as input. So for example, I might have it write a blog post for me, but I'm having it pull from the transcript of a YouTube video that I created. So all the content that is being put into that blog post is still my content. It's just being reformatted, Or if I'm writing for my mom blog, I've used ChatGPT to create content, and I will still go in and then like edit it heavily. So they kind of created the structure and like the most basic elements of the content, but I will go in and like add additional information, make sure that everything that it put in there was correct, so that I make sure it's a good piece of content and that it's not either factually inaccurate or just low quality. Same thing with, for example, Instagram captions. I will let ChatGPT create a lot of Instagram captions for me, but I give it very specific instructions on, number one, what I want, and number two, I will typically give it a transcript. So if I have a like 90-second clip from one of my YouTube videos that I want to post on Instagram, I will input the transcript from that video into ChatGPT and just have it then make a caption that makes sense for with that transcript. It's not just making something up out of nowhere. It's just adapting my content, adapting my work to make it make sense for wherever I'm putting it. And to go along with this, what makes this whole process with ChatGPT so much easier is also how I am using CapCut for my editing. So I've used a lot of different editing software. I was a broadcast journalism major in college, so I was literally like editing video back when we had it on tapes. And CapCut has like every feature that I could need, and that probably 99% of people who are creating content out here need. And so first I will always just like upload my main video there, and I will edit it. You can either edit it by going in there and like splicing and cutting it up. They also have a feature where you can edit it by the transcript. So there's a button that you press and it will generate this transcript, and then it'll even like automatically delete pauses or or filler words for you. So that's like a huge hack to like cut down your time on editing. For me personally, I still like to do it manually by hand because even though I think that the CapCut transcript editing, that when they do it automatically, it's fine. Sometimes the cuts are like just a little bit imprecise, which I think it doesn't degrade the quality of it to the point where it's unusable, but I still usually have to go back in there and like tweak things anyways. And since I am experienced at editing, it's just as quick for me to do it myself. But if you're brand new to content creation and editing videos, it would be a really great tool for you to utilize. But after it is completely edited, now some of these features are in the pro features. I also, for ChatGPT, do the paid version of ChatGPT. Some tools I use free and some I pay for. So ChatGPT, I do pay for that one. CapCut, I also pay for that because one of the features I like is getting auto-generated captions. Because when I say CapCut, I'm doing this on my desktop. There is CapCut for on your phone, but for me, when I'm doing this longer form content, I do it on the desktop version of CapCut. And after I generate these captions, which I think is only a pro feature to get them auto-generated, when I export the video to post it, I can also choose to have it export a text file of the captions. And that's where I don't have to use any additional third-party platforms to pull captions from my video. CapCut will do it for me both in that longer video, but then after that video is exported, I can then have it re-uploaded into CapCut, into this special new feature they have where they will automatically cut it into clips for you. I've used a lot of different softwares that use AI editing to cut longer form content into shorter form content, and CapCut has done just as good of a job, if not better, than any other ones that I've used. And so since I'm already paying for that because I like some of their features like auto-generated captions and some of their templates, I may as well use this other tool that they have. And when they automatically cut these clips for me, you could use them just as is. I usually go in and do a little bit of tweaking on each of them, either in like just the fonts that I want used, or I want it a little shorter, or to cut pieces out. But when I then export those shorter clips, it will also automatically export the TXT file of captions for that as well. So I can use those to then, create the Instagram captions and things like that. It's like these little things in the workflow that stack on top of each other that make things just so much easier for me to get it all done more quickly. And then the last one that I use all the time, I've talked about this here, I will talk about all the time, is I love Notion. And when it specifically comes to content creation, there's one specific feature that if you go to this video that I did a total breakdown of Notion on, I talk about it deeply there, are databases. So databases in Notion are similar to like a spreadsheet, but there's just a lot more that you can do with them. Like one entry into your database can be a whole page that opens up, and you can have like an entire script and a whole bunch of notes and ideas inside of that. And so what I like to do is just like brain dump a lot of different content ideas I have into these databases. But then based on the way you choose to sort that database, which takes like 2 clicks, you can easily see the content that maybe you've scheduled to record that week. And you can really quickly weed out all of the like brain dumps without it clogging up your workflow. And I do have a paid Notion template that I've created called Content HQ, where I've created all those little filters and things for you. You can grab that in a link below somewhere. But Notion, I actually do use the free version of Notion. I don't pay for the paid version because I just haven't needed those specific tools inside of Notion. I've only needed the free version. So just because a tool is powerful and has a lot of options doesn't mean it's going to be expensive. I also love Notion because, look, every video you're going to hear me talk about the fact that I have ADHD because it influences the decisions I make and how I set up all the productivity in my life. And I create tons and tons and tons of lists. And Notion is someplace that I can easily house all those lists and keep track of them. My husband, we've been married for like 11 or 12 years at this point, and he did not know this about me. Like until a couple weeks ago, we were like laying in bed and I was showing him like all the lists that I had in Notion and then all the lists that I had in my notes app before I started using Notion. And then I was like, and then I had Evernote even before that. Because I need to keep track of stuff. And Notion, I can do that. And what's cool about the pages is that the pages are also like folders. And so it's easy to like nest everything together. It's just, if you're not on it, go check it out. Okay, that's it. I've got some like free stuff down in the links. You can also grab Content HQ. And if you are tired of doing all this stuff yourself and you need someone to take some of it off your plate, maybe help create your content or edit your videos, whatever it is, you can also set up a 30-minute call and we can chat and see if I'm a good fit to do that for you.